welcoming you to our gentle yoga class today. This is a mat class. So what that means is we are going to be getting down onto the floor and back up again, slowly, mindfully. So that's number one. Number two, we are tackling the theme of transitions today. And I think this is one of my favorite themes because I studied vinyasa yoga, and vinyasa literally is moving from one pose to the other with fluidity with the breath. And so it kind of helps you cultivate this awareness of these transition zones, some place where we might want to pay a little extra attention to, like if we're moving from a standing to a seated posture, or we're entering a new phase of life. Some of you have talked a little bit about, adjusting to a new normal with health. Maybe it's from fatigue or peripheral neuropathy or treatment related, or maybe you're changing jobs or retiring. So these transition zones, I want us to kind of focus on slowing down and adapting our awareness to be mindful of this really special place that we're basically always in transition, right? So we'll move from a standing to a seated to a reclining posture. We'll start off really nice and slow. We'll warm the body up. We'll get onto our hands and knees. Grab a blanket for cushioning for the head, for the knees. Have a piece of furniture you can use to get down and up from. Have a little bit of water. And then we'll transition to some standing postures. Flow a little bit more, like as in vinyasa flow, but very, very gentle. And then we'll wind down and close our practice with some relaxation meditation where we'll focus on the breath, which is always changing. And so it makes it's a great place to rest our awareness. All right, so I am going to go ahead and stand up, and I'll invite you to do the same and make your way to your space, your yoga space. Get anything out of the way that you don't need. We're going to be coming down onto our knees. So what I'll do is I'll just start with a little bend to my knees. And I've got my piece of furniture right in front of me. I'm going to lean forward with a flat back and reach down with my tented fingertips onto my furniture. And then I'm going to come back up. So I'm going to do this a few times. Bending my knees, reaching forward, nice flat back. Come on up. We'll do one more. Little knee bend, hands on the furniture. And now I'm going to place one knee down onto my blanket and the other knee down. So that is, you've got to carefully choose which knee feels better. And then I'll slowly come to sit on my tuffet, as I call it. And I'm swinging my legs around. So I'm getting ready to come down into a reclining pose where we'll sort of enter into the yoga space a little more mindfully. So I've got my hands underneath my shoulders. I'm going to scoot my bum forward, come down onto my forearms, and then all the way down. You used a lot of core for that movement. So we're going to be doing some core stuff today. So come to recline in whatever steps feel good to you. You may or may not have found my cues helpful. Coming to lie down on the back with the knees bent. Maybe you have a little bit of support underneath the head. And we're going to begin with hands resting on the belly, unless that doesn't feel good to you. And I'll just take a moment to allow my body to settle here as I transition into my yoga practice. I might want to close my eyes if that would feel safe for me. And I'm going into a little bit of a more internal place, just noticing the breath flowing in through the nose and maybe out through the mouth to begin. And I'm leaving behind the moments that led to this moment. I'm just seeing if I could maybe take a few breaths, right? Just maybe 3 breaths in a row. That's good, Catherine. Taking a few breaths here, feeling the expansion of the belly and allowing my shoulders to relax, allowing my neck to relax. Lots of us carrying tension around in the neck. So literally just taking gravity out of the picture for those of us with neck and shoulder tension can be a really useful first step. So you might, weave a little reclining practice into your day just to take a load off of the head and the neck. So now I would love it if you would bring your awareness to your pelvis and to the curve of the low back. So what we'll be doing is tilting the pelvis forward and creating that accentuated lumbar curve. And then pushing the belly button down towards the earth, erasing the lumbar curve. And I want to just rock back and forth. It's a really small, subtle movement that helps me warm up my core and my lower back. Super gentle pelvic tilts, and I might weave in the breath here. So I'm breathing in, lifting up and away, breathing out, pressing down. It doesn't have to be as hard as I can go. In fact, if I'm the kind of person who tends to push through discomfort and pain, I might give myself a little grace throughout the whole session today and only go to, 60% of my effort. And that might be something I need to learn in my life. I know it's true for me. I know it's true for my dad with Waldenstrom's. So a couple more pelvic tilts here, just exploring the low back, warming up nice and slow. Very good. Now I'll bring my arms out to the sides and I'm going to walk my feet apart. I still have my knees bent. So my feet are nice and wide, maybe all the way to the edges of my mat. And I'm going to let the knees drop a little bit to the right side. Both knees dropping to the right. Coming back to center with an inhale. Exhale, both knees to the left. Breathing into center. Breathing out to the right. You could go slower, you could go faster. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Maybe you go a little farther. So I'm just exploring this range of motion. It's a wonderful way to stretch the hip flexors that are indeed connected to the lower back. So you might feel that connection there. You might breathe into that sensation. And windshield wipers are just a wonderful sort of transition into our yoga space. Great warm up. So I like to warm up a little bit with some gentle movement. It's not stretching per se. And then we'll come back to neutral, and I'm going to hug my knees in towards my chest just a little bit. And I might just circle my knees. So I'm massaging the lower back. I can feel the sacrum. If you experience any discomfort or pain here, edge away from it. I might go back the other direction. You've got it. Now I'm going to move into a core movement. So I'm going to keep my legs lifted with my shins parallel to the earth. And even just doing this, I can feel my core working. I'm going to try to flatten my lumbar curve a little bit towards the earth. I'm going to lift my fingertips up towards the ceiling, and I feel like a little baby lying on the ground here, reaching for my mobile. Plug the shoulders down into the earth. And now we're just going to stretch opposite arm, opposite leg, extend above and below. So lengthening opposite arm, opposite leg, and then come back to that neutral baby mobile posture. And then switch sides, extending opposite arm, opposite leg, and come on back. Take a breath. Exhale, reach. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Inhale, center. It's a lot of work. Maybe you just do the arms if this feels like too much on the hip flexor. And I might do one more on each side. That's really good. And last one. And I'm hugging those knees back into the chest and rocking those knees in a circle. And then I might just rest my feet down and do another set of windshield wipers with the feet nice and wide, arms wherever feels good. Washing the knees from side to side, just loosening up. And now I'll begin to transition to lying on my right side. So I'm going to roll over onto my right side. I'm going to cradle my head in my hand or get my pillow underneath my head. My bottom leg is going to be bent and my top leg is going to be long. And I'm just going to be doing some leg lifts here. 5 leg lifts. Bottom leg is bent, top leg is long, and we're just lifting that leg up and releasing it down. So I'm lying on my right side, lifting my left leg up. And I don't have to go to the full range of my effort, but I could explore where I feel sensation. You've got it. That's beautiful. And I'm taking maybe one more of those leg lifts. You got it. And then I'm going to bend my top leg and see if I could carefully reach back with my left hand and grab onto my foot, my ankle, my pant leg, whatever I can reach, maybe extending the bottom leg long. And I'm getting a nice quad stretch here, just breathing into that left hip. And then I'll release and I'm going to roll onto my belly just for a brief moment here between sides. And I might bring my elbows underneath my shoulders and rest my forearms on the earth in what's called Sphinx pose. I'm tucking my chin, so I don't want to add too much pressure to my neck here. And my legs are active, so I'm lifting up my kneecaps away from the earth. Energize the legs. That's good. Big breath. And then go ahead and roll over onto that left side, cradling the head in the hand or using a block or pillow underneath. Bottom leg is bent, top leg is long. And I've got my right hand resting on the earth for balance. I'm going to lift the top leg up, release it down with control. Breathing in, breathing out. For 3 more. Maybe the toe can point downward a little bit. So I direct my sensation towards the middle glutes. Very good. And then let's reach back and grab that ankle or foot or pant leg, extending the bottom leg long if that would feel safe. So a little tricky balance here. And I'm breathing into that right hip, seeing how that feels. And then releasing, and I'm going to roll onto my back for a moment. I've got my support under my head. So I'm rolling onto my back and just resetting for a moment. So I'm thinking about ways to transition up to a seated posture, and I think the core is so important here. I'm actually going to do a few very, very gentle mini crunches. So I'm going to interlace my fingers behind my head, and I'm going to kind of turn off my neck muscles here because I tend to really overuse my neck muscles. And I'm going to move my mind down to my abs. And I'm just going to lift a little bit up off the earth and come right back down. So I might do a total of 5 little crunches. So I'm kind of getting those muscles turned on. Finding your breath. And one more crunch. Good. Relax the arms down at the sides. Maybe rest the hands on the belly. Take a breath. And then using those muscles, I'm going to come up to sit. Right? Maybe I want to lie on the side and push my way up. Maybe I feel like I could use my abs and then get my arms underneath me to come up to sit just for a brief moment with my legs in front of me. And then I'm going to swing my legs to the side and come onto my hands and knees. So coming onto my hands and knees. I'm just turn around here. Coming onto my hands and knees, if you feel the need, you can pad up under the knees if you have tender knees. And if this doesn't feel right to you, you can skip it altogether. We won't be here too long. But I'm going to set up here, so good for my wrists, with a nice wide palm, so nice spread apart fingers that are gripping the earth. My shoulders are above my arms. You got it, Carolyn. So I'm just on my hands and my knees here. And I'm going to create some very small circles with my whole body. So the whole body is moving in a circle, and I'm kind of warming up my wrists. It's a very small little circle, circling the whole body. And I can feel this in my elbows, my shoulders, my hips. And then I might move in the other direction. And then I'm going to come back to neutral, tuck my toes under, and walk my fingertips back. So I'm sitting on my toes, and it's a big, big stretch, so please take care. So I'm sort of leaning forward. I got my toes underneath me, getting a really big stretch. I'm going to come into lion's pose. So lion's pose, I'll be opening my mouth. This is great for neck tension that is in the jaw. Opening my mouth and sticking out my tongue and creating a little ha sound. Like you could get rid of all of the unwanted toxins in your body. All right. And then coming back onto hands and knees, or just sitting for a moment, I want to check in with you guys. Are hands and knees okay? Can you hang out in hands and knees for a little while longer, or would you like to move to standing? So give me a thumbs up if you want to be in hands and knees, and then a thumbs down if you do not want to be in hands and knees. Okay, so I got mostly thumbs up and 2 thumbs down. So what we'll do is I'll just do 1 bird dog, and then we'll move up to a standing pose, so kind of a little bit of a compromise. So on my hands and knees, and you can totally skip this. And remember that little baby mobile posture we did at the beginning, otherwise known as dead bug, which I really don't like that name. This is basically that, only we're on our hands and knees. So I'm going to stretch my right leg out, lift my left arm up, and I might lift that right heel up. So pulling the belly towards the spine, and then I'm resetting and switching sides. Opposite arm, opposite leg lifting, balance challenge. If you feel really good here, you could do another one. Otherwise, we're going to be just gradually now crawling our way towards that piece of furniture and bringing our hands up onto that furniture. Okay, so I'm on my knees. I've got my hands on my furniture, and I'm going to practice tucking my toes under and then placing the tops of my feet back down. So I'm just taking little steps here. Toes tuck, tops of feet press. And this may or may not be something that feels okay to you, so do what feels good. All right, and now I'm going to step 1 foot forward, doesn't matter which, tuck the opposite toe and push my way up, and I might come right back down. I'm practicing that little lunge, and I might want to switch sides and try it with the other side, tucking the toe, pushing up. Yeah. And then when you're ready, come on up to stand, and let's circle the wrists a bit. So we did a lot on the wrists there. You guys did great, and extra gold stars to those who avoided doing something that was uncomfortable. Because a lot of times we get into a group space and we see what other people are doing and we think, I should just do it, even though we know it's not right for us. So good job. Shake it out. Maybe you want to take a sip of water. Oh God, a little mixture there. All right, so I'm going to come to stand, fixing my hair, and let's just move the head from side to side. So somebody was talking about neck tension. I think it was Annette. Moving my head from side to side, the arms can stay long. Right, so I'm tilting the right ear to the right shoulder, left ear, left shoulder, and I'm letting both shoulders just kind of relax a little bit. Yeah, easier said than done for me. My shoulders are always, I wear them like earrings. All right, and then I'll come back and I'm just going to roll my shoulders up, back, and down a few times. All right, guys. So let's get into a little bit more of a flowing movement. I'm going to come to stand. My feet are about hips distance apart, but you do what feels good for you. Maybe you have a piece of furniture nearby for balance for later. I'm just going to inhale my arms out and up and exhale them back down. So I'm creating this mindful space, inhaling and exhaling. This transition to stand, I want to take it slow. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. This time I'm going to lift both arms up. I'm going to leave that right arm lifted and bring my left arm down. So I'm stretching the right side body. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, right arm down. So I'm reaching for that rope in the sky. Inhale up. Exhale down. Breathing in. Breathing out. Let's bring both arms back up. And exhale both arms down. All right. Now I'm going to come up onto my tiptoes and lift both arms up. And exhale, come on down onto the full foot. So it might be just a little tiny movement. We're inhaling and exhaling. If you need support, you can hold on to a chair. I'm coming up onto my tiptoes, lifting my arms and releasing back down. It's wonderful. And I might do one more like that. Got it. Now, same deal. I'm going to come up onto my tiptoes. And as I come down, I'm going to bring my left arm down. Inhale, both arms up, tiptoe lift. Exhale, release the opposite arm down. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. And last one. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release. And then both arms come up. And I'm just bringing my hands to heart center, rubbing the hands together. Interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms away. Getting a little finger stretch here. And then I might just swing my arms, scissor my arms in front and back. Yeah, I got a lot of tension in the shoulders that I can kind of juice up here. All right, now we're going to move into a classical yoga pose called Warrior One, but we're going to move kind of in and out of it. Starting with mountain pose. So coming to the top of my mat, I might just take my hands on my hips. And I'm going to step the left foot back at an angle and then step right back up. So I'm practicing this transition, stepping back and stepping forward. And as I step back with that left foot, opening to the left a little bit, my hips sort of kind of stay pointing forward, right? So sometimes we have this urge to, open the whole hips, but I'm just a little bit. So I might take one more step back and I'm going to stay there, nice wide base. So I might walk my right foot over to the right a little bit, and I'm going to bend and straighten into my front knee. My torso is nice and upright. You guys look great. And I can feel that left hip flexor saying hello to me. Now I'll stay with my right knee bent and squeeze that left glute muscle just a little bit so I feel really stable in my left hip. And then option to lift the arms up overhead. You might hook the thumbs together. If that feels too intense, you could bring the hands to heart center. So whatever feels good, we're going to hang out in Warrior One for 2 breaths. Always making those little calibrations and recalibrations along the way. We're never really fully there for long. And then I'll release my hands down, take my hands to my hips, shortening my stance just a little bit. I still have my right foot forward and my left foot back at a tiny angle. And I'm going to take some dips forward with leading the way with my heart and coming right back up. So I'm going to call these pyramid dips. Both legs are strong as I do this, and I'm keeping my chin tucked so I'm not jutting the chin forward and putting unnecessary pressure on the neck. The next time I dip forward with both legs are straight, I might stay there and take a breath or two, pulling that belly towards the spine. You got it, Betty Ann. Beautiful. And then I'll walk my way back up, step to the top of my mat. I'm going to take an inhale with the arms out and up, and I might come up onto my tiptoes and exhale the arms back down. I might sink into a little mini chair pose. Inhale, arms out and up, tiptoe lift. Exhale, sink down, arms back. Good, and I might do one more of those. Sinking into the knees, and then just coming up to stand. You got it. Beautiful, Allison. Looking strong. So I'm practicing stepping my right foot back at a tiny angle and stepping right forward for our Warrior One second side. Stepping it back and stepping it forward a few times. And maybe that step gets a little bit longer. Next time I step back, I'm going to stay, hips kind of sort of pointing forward, and I'll bend and straighten into that left knee, juice up the left knee joint a little bit. Keeping that left knee bent now and squeezing the right glute muscle. So I'm creating stability in that right hip. And whatever you want to do with the hands, with the arms, could be hands to heart center. I might sweep my arms up. I might hook my thumbs together, opposite thumb on top from what you did last time. Big breath in, sigh it out the mouth. One more breath. And then we're releasing the arms down, taking hold of the hips, shortening the stance, and taking a little dip forward, heart leading the way, coming back up. Both legs are straight and strong. You got it, Amy? And I just hand it to Amy, always practicing at a much later time than us, consistently weaving yoga into her life. Such a good job, Amy. Now I might stay here, keeping my chin tucked, feeling that good stretch in my left leg. And then coming back up, stepping to the top of my mat. And let's do one more little set of inhaling the arms out and up. Maybe you come up to tiptoes. Exhale, release the arms down. Maybe you bend a little bit in the knees. Inhale, lift, stretch to the sky. Exhale, sink down. Feel that rooted earth below. One more time. And then I'm coming up to stand, and I might take a moment to take a sip of water. Checking in, seeing how you guys are doing. Thumbs up. All right, I see some thumbs up. Yeah, I like that stretch, Catherine. All right, so let's come to stand with a little bit of an open hip posture. So I've separated my feet out wider than my shoulders. And I'm going to take some circles to my hips. They could be nice and slow. And I might move the other direction. Got it, Carolyn. And then I'm going to let my arms relax down at my sides. And I'm going to do a little windmill action here where I twist my torso and I let my arms be heavy and dangle. See if you can let the arms go on the swing. And then the arms can kind of hit the body. And I'm going to keep my gaze straight ahead, right? This little advice they give you in ballet if you're doing twirls, right? To keep the eyes focused on something so you don't get dizzy. Good. And I might take one or two more of these delightful little windmills. All right. And then I'll come to find a way to stand where I have support. I have a wall right next to me. You might have a chair. And we're going to do some leg sweeps. Catherine, you're going to love this. This is something we were doing together the other day. So I'm going to bring my weight into one leg. It doesn't matter which leg first. And I'm going to bring the other leg out to the side. I'll sweep it forward. So it's like I'm touching a point right in front of me, out to the side and back behind me, like a V on its side, the letter V on its side. So I'm touching these points, and then I might let go of touching and just swing out to the side, to the front. And this is sort of getting us prepared for our triangle pose. So we're transitioning to another pose by strengthening and stretching the muscles we're going to use for the other pose. And that's a lot of weight on one leg. So I'm going to switch it up, grabbing my support, and I might just find those points first, touching down, upside, V on its side, behind to the side, out front. And then with control, I'm swinging my leg out to the side, back behind. You can feel all those side ab muscles working that we used when we did our side lying balance at the beginning. You got it. Maybe one more, and then we'll come back to that wide-legged stance, and we'll get into what my teacher calls the pose that is a puzzle of a lifetime, triangle pose, or Trikonasana. So I'm going to bring my right toes to the right, and I'll angle my left foot in just a little bit. My hips are still kind of pointing towards you. And I'm going to sass out my left hip a little bit. And I think of, being a rebellious teenager here. Like, no, I'm not going to go do that. I'll bring my right arm out to the right. And I'm going to be just kind of imagining that I'm a little teapot, pouring my right arm over my right leg, kind of staying in line, my body staying in line. So I keep my left shoulder back. So it's a big stretch here. Some transitioning with this dynamic movement. Now I might want to stay static as I lean forward, both legs are strong, and then I bring my right hand down onto my right thigh or wherever you want to reach. And this left arm can travel up. I might want to gaze down, or I could gaze straight out, or I could gaze up, whatever feels good. Personally, gazing up, might be challenging if you have vertigo. So just a tip there. Feel that big stretch in that left hip, and then come on out of it. We'll take a little rinsing of the hips with some hip circles. And those of you who are wanting to build bone density, that is one of the poses that was in a research study that showed that actually could reverse bone loss when practiced very regularly and holding for at least 12 to 30 seconds. So triangle pose, a bone building pose, and you can almost feel it happening, right? So let's try the other side. I'm going to bring my left toes to the left, angle my right foot in a little bit, keeping my hips pointing forward, sassing out that right hip, and getting into my teapot, pouring that spout over my left hand over my left leg, keeping that right shoulder back. Right, if I feel any discomfort here, I'm going to stay on the gentle side. That looks good in it. And then slowly finding my static triangle pose, bringing that left hand down wherever feels good. And that right arm can reach up. The gaze could be down, it could be straight ahead, or it could be up. So do what feels best for your neck. Big breath in. And make your way out of it. Walk your feet together and just take some little march in place to kind of get that all reset. And I'll take a sip of water. Now, for this next pose, I would love it if you had some support. So a chair would be great. What I'm going to do is get into a similar shape that we did for triangle. So a little space between my feet. My right toes are going to go to the right, and I'll just show you. So I'm kind of pretending I have a chair here because I don't want to clutter my space up with that right now. I'm going to be bending my right knee and lifting my left leg, but we're going to get there gradually. So I just wanted to show you what that looks like. So I've got my right toes to the right. I've angled my left foot in. I'm bending into my right knee, and I might be holding onto my chair here and coming up onto the tiptoe of my left foot and coming back down onto the full foot. So I'm kind of gradually making my way. This might be where you stay for our half moon, right? Or you might want to try kicking that left leg up and bringing it down a few times. So little half moon hops, and we're keeping that left shoulder back like we did in triangle, right? So the hips are open in this. And I might hold this shape for a moment. Maybe that left arm reaches. All right, you got it, Betty Ann. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, and release. Walk it out. And we'll do that on the other side. Boy, I really feel this is such a hip strengthening practice today. Let's bring a little space between the feet. Left toes to the left. Maybe you want to change where your chair is so you have that support. We're angling that right foot in. I'm bringing my weight into my left foot and coming up onto the tiptoe of the back foot. So I'm just kind of practicing getting there gradually. You got it. And then I might begin to pour weight into this left leg and lift that right leg up. Remember when we did our side lying balance? That's what this leg is doing, right? So the hips are open. You got it, Annette. Beautiful. And then I might stay lifted here, holding onto my support. Maybe that right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Big breath. And come on down. Really nice job, guys. We're going to be now transitioning to some seated and winding down. That was kind of our peak pose. So grab a sip of water and then we'll transition to seated. Transitioning. I come back to my trusty piece of furniture and I'm going to gradually make my way down, dropping one knee down first, coming to sit and bringing my legs out in front of me. Got it, Catherine. I love that very comfortable, squishy yoga mat you've got going on. So for the next pose, boat pose, I'm going to start with my hands underneath my shoulders and my knees are bent. Now, if you're somebody who has back issues, you might want to stay just really careful here. So I'm just going to lift one leg, bring it back down, and lift the other. Bring it back down. I might do that a couple times. You got it. Feel that core working. Now, option to bring the hands grabbing onto the thighs. So if you get here and you feel like you're really sinking in the back, use the hands underneath the shoulders. So now same deal, I'm going to lift one leg at a time. See how that feels. And then actually boat pose is a balance pose. So I'm going to gradually walk my feet a little closer and I'm going to see if maybe I bring my feet together, my knees together. Maybe I could lift both legs up for just a millisecond and bring them back down. If you feel any discomfort in the low back, come out of it. And I might practice that. I might practice lifting, and then I might lift my arms and maybe pedal the feet. 1, 2, 3, release. You got it. Nice job, guys. Now, bound angle, butterfly, or cobbler's pose. We have so many names for poses. I'm going to bring my feet together, soles of my feet together. Now, if you need support behind the body, you can prop up with your hands. You can come up onto a blanket as well. And with my feet together and my knees to the sides, I'm just going to take some little butterfly wing flaps and just kind of let go of holding my hips a little bit. Like let go of that tension in the hip muscles. This feels too intense, that's right. Bring the feet a little farther forward. All right. Really great job, guys. Now we're transitioning to the back again. So I'm taking my hands underneath me. I've got my feet on the earth, my knees are bent. And I'm going to come down onto my elbows and then work my way down, all the way down onto my back. I'm going to grab that support underneath my head to start. I'm going to come to my sort of neutral resting pose, which is my knees are bent. And one way you can really take any pressure off the body here is to walk the feet apart and tent the knees together. So you could really hang out here if you wanted to without much effort in the legs. So that's an option. I'm just going to transition to this reclining posture with a couple of breaths. Just observing the state of being that I am in. And if it feels good, you could stay here just breathing. Or you might want to come back to your pelvic tilts that we did at the beginning. So the knees are apart, the knees are bent, and I'm just pressing my belly button towards the earth and lifting it up away from the earth. Erasing and accentuating the lumbar curve at whatever pace feels good, and I'm just noticing the difference in my body from the beginning. Maybe there is no difference, and that's fine too. And then I'll come back to neutral, and I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee. I'm going to reach through the window of my legs and grab onto my left thigh and hug it in. Right? Make any modifications if this feels too intense for you. I've got my right foot flexed, not pointed, to protect the knee joint, and I'm just going to take a couple breaths into this sensation in my right hip or right glute muscle. And I'm already giving myself so many gold stars for doing this whole class because we're getting near the end. Relax that left foot down all the way to the earth. And now cross the right knee all the way over. So that right knee is nestling on top of the left. I'll bring my arms out to the sides, and I'm just going to drop both knees over to the left a little bit. So it's a gentle, gentle twist. If you want to go farther, you can go farther. I'm keeping my shoulders on the earth. So let the shoulders melt. Take a couple of breaths into that right rib cage, right side body. Slowly make your way back. Uncross. And we'll switch sides with the left ankle over the right knee. Hug the legs in, grabbing onto the right thigh. Flexing that left foot, not pointing it. And I'm just hanging out in the sensation with my breath at the foreground. And generally, when I'm stretching after a physical activity, I like to give myself at least 3 breaths worth of stretch. It's a good way to measure a stretch. Good. And now we can relax that foot down, cross the knee over so the knees are nestling. Arms can drape to the sides as we slowly bring the knees, both knees to the right, keeping my left shoulder melting into the earth. Fill up that left side with your breath. Relax back to center. One last time we can hug the knees into the chest, maybe make some circles with the knees, massage the low back. You might like to grab onto the back of both thighs and push both feet up towards the ceiling, point and flex, roll the ankles. Take a moment for all that fluid to begin to flow back to the heart, lymph fluid. And any other movements the body's asking for before we move into our final, most important pose, our rest pose or shavasana. So I'm going to take a moment to really get myself super, super comfortable. That might mean I put on a layer, I grab a blanket. I really love, if I have back issues especially, getting something for underneath my knees. A pillow, a blanket, 2 blocks, whatever feels good. And that can take the pressure off the low back when you extend the legs. I've got a nice rolled up blanket underneath my neck, so it's cradling the base of my skull. What I want to do basically here is create a neutral spine. That's the goal of our props in our final resting Shavasana here. So take a moment or two longer to settle. I'm going to bring my singing bowls into our Shavasana practice. You'll hear that being set up. And just give me a thumbs up if you can hear this bowl. Thank you. Okay, so coming to rest in Shavasana. For some of us, Shavasana is hard because we have difficulty staying still. That's okay. If you need to move, you can move. But I want to give my body a little bit of time to rest, to allow all the poses we did to integrate. I want to allow the blood to circulate through my body a couple times, the whole body, fresh blood. Letting my muscles relax. I'm supporting my joints. And maybe the movement can be the movement of my breath. The breath is such a perfect place to rest our attention. It is always changing, much like our lives, always changing. Observing the inhale, expansion, a pause at the top of the breath, and exhaling all of the air out. Pause at the bottom of the breath. Very, very small pause. So each breath is taken in its fullest. And we can feel this incredible stillness between the breaths, the transition zone between the breaths. So we're breathing in, expanding, coming to the top of the breath, and then sliding down the other side, exhaling. Resting in that little tiny pause and circling the breath again. The breath is always changing. My life is always changing. The one thing that I can count on is change. So practicing staying with this transition, this fluctuation, is integral to my well-being. Practicing developing an unchanging awareness. This is the thing that has the ability to stay focused. It's focusing on my breath and being aware of my awareness, shining that light of awareness on my whole self in this moment. Friends, if you want to stay in this restful place, you're welcome to, for as long as you need. If you're ready to come back, you do so gently, with kindness and care towards yourself for the rest of this day or evening. Beginning to create a little bit of movement in the body, like licking the lips, wiggling the fingers. When you're ready, transitioning to a seated posture in whatever way feels best. Again, option to stay where you are is invited. But we will begin to close our session. If it's in your practice, you can rest your hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra, where the right and left hemispheres of the brain are also connected. And my palms together can connect to your palms being together in this moment. As a community, we are experiencing this moment. Closing our practice with 1 Om and 3 Shantis. Shanti means peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And thanking you so much for your practice, friends. Namaste.